No. Hello, time travellers.
Hello, time travellers.
Lots of people, when they're doing their time travelling, interested in kings and queens, and one name comes up the whole time. Everyone says to me, how can I visit Henry VIII?
Visiting a king is something, or a queen is something everybody wants to do, but it's probably one of the most difficult things to do. It's not easy to get in a palace. It's not easy to see the really famous people from history. But we're going to do our best to show you how to do it safely and enjoyably. Mark, what the hell are you wearing? You look like one of the Queen of Hearts attendants in Alice in Wonderland. Have you done this on purpose?
You don't like this? I thought the best thing to do to get into the Tudor court was to look foreign, so I borrowed, this is from 1530s Germany. Good, isn't it?
It's very nice. You've done very well.
So, Ed, if we wanted to go and see Henry VIII, what would you say?
Well, this is where, I mean, it takes, you can get expert guides, but most people don't. There's the Henry chasers, like we've mentioned Shakespeare chasers before, people who really want to go and see Henry. Never try and wing it yourself. These days, at Henry's palaces, you get people turning up, homemade velvet outfits covered in modern plastic jewels. There weren't artificial pearls then. You can have as many pearls as you want these days in Tudor times. You're not going to impress anyone, because when you turn up at a palace, what's the first thing you see? What's in front of you?
Big doors. Big doors.
Big doors. And the porters at those big doors, they're going to look at you through the little grill and go, ha, ha, ha. No, like that. If they do let you in, they might open the little wicket gate in the big doors, let you through there. If they think you're important, they'll open one leaf of the gate. If they think you're really important, they'll open both leaves of the gate. But you can't just turn up at a palace dressed in your beautiful velvet finery that you've made on your sewing machine the night before and go, oh, I'm Lord Whatnot. And they'll go, oh, who? You look crazy. You ain't coming in here, sunshine. So yeah, I mean, that's your first obstacle. Mark, ways around it. How do you physically get in a palace?
Well, that was bothering me when you were talking about the big houses, the castles. That's going to be obvious, isn't it? You're going to try and go to, for Henry VIII, you're going to go to Greenwich or Whitehall, Hampton Court or the Tower of London. No, don't do that. That's where everybody else is trying to get into, and you're just going to show up as something a bit odd. I'd go for a hunting lodge, perhaps. Go all the way out to Oxford. Go to Woodstock. There's no one out there. You can just sort of wander in, wander through the park, try and blend in a bit, and you've got much more chance there. Or, now personally, I would go for Nonsuch Palace. Most people haven't heard of that one. Nonsuch Palace is long gone. It was down near Epsom in Surrey, and it was Henry's favourite, you see. So I'm starting to get a bit cunning here by going, oh, Your Majesty, oh, what a beautiful palace. This is so much nicer than the others. Even if I happen to think it looks like a wedding cake on acid, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to tell him it's beautiful.
Yeah, but you're not going to get near him because he's surrounded by a court and courtiers, and it's very controlled. And I can't imagine, I mean, hunting is possibly the worst thing. I mean, you know, Tudor hunting is weird. A lot of it is they're standing on top of a mound, a king standing, with crossbows, and servants are driving carefully chosen deer to reflect their dignity towards them, and you stand there and pretty much at point blank range go, bang! Well, crossbow doesn't go bang, thump, whatever it does. It's very weird. What are you imagining doing? You'll be sort of sidling around dressed in the wonderful outfit you've chosen, sort of lurking behind trees going, Henry, hello, notice me. Somebody's going to go, what are you doing in the King's Hunting Park? You're in the way. Why are you dressed like that? Get out of it. It's going to be difficult coming up with an explanation.
How about this then? Everything you said about us standing out too much, being all wrong. One of the things that Henry VIII gets introduced to a lot is foreign ambassadors. So we could have a go at being That would explain why we've got such beautiful clothes and are looking
Yeah.
so dapper, because we're foreign, and that's why we look a bit odd. So if we went into one of the palaces, sort of sneak
Yeah.
into the back behind the French or the Spanish ambassadors. How's that sound?
Oh, well, I like that because, of course, as well. I mean, in this places like France and Spain, they're so culturally diverse. We can claim to be from, oh, I don't know, some obscure
Hello?
bit of Castile or something, and go hello. We don't even need to do that. Our accents to Tudor people are going to be so outrageous. We're going to speak in such a weird way that I like that. But where would we get? We might get to the Great Hall. We can mix
Yeah.
with courtiers. And then there's the Great Watching Chamber, where the guards are. We've got to sort of look interesting enough to get into the Presence Chamber or the Privy Chamber and meet the gentleman of the Privy Chamber. First of all, we've got to go through a lot of gaps. But I reckon we could do it as very, very odd foreign ambassadors. It's a possibility, but it's risky. Because, of course, if you're sneaking in with the Spanish or French ambassador, they can just turn around. Somebody goes, who are this lot? Don't know. Never met them before. It's always risky.
My plan. Look, I managed to pick up one of these on one of my travels. All I have to do is pop this on, and nice bit of chain, and walk in with the ambassadors there, blend in.
Yeah.
Hello English, we go, and I'm in. I reckon this is going to do me good.
I would go for, I mean, these palaces, the court is everybody, in a way. There's the courtiers, but there's also all the servants. They're honourable servants. You're servants for a king. You're part of the king's gang. This isn't like Georgian or Victorian servants. You're not hidden away. I'd try and slip in with the gang. I'd go through the kitchens. I'd go with a tray of purple Tudor carrots before they breed them orange, and I'd go in and go, I'm delivering these carrots. You know, it's the classic movie stealing a doctor's coat to get into a hospital kind of thing. I'd look for a bit of livery and I'd work my way through that way.
Chain off and down the kitchens, you reckon?
Yeah, well, we know. Now, correct me, you'll know more about this. Henry is supposed to have gone and played cards with the kitchen scullions, isn't he, on occasion, or at least once?
Oh, yeah, you're talking about a one-off in one of the account books where they say he lost some money to the sergeant of the buttery, so the guy that looks after the beer. Now, we don't know where that was, though. Was that downstairs or was that upstairs? No, too much of a risk. I think
too much of a risk. You don't want to spend 30 years washing bowls.
Not really. I've got another plan. You're talking about sneaking in through the kitchens. Good idea. But then you're not going to get upstairs to the hall to see him. What's Henry's great love? Music. What's the chance of creeping in behind the musicians? We could do our own crumhorn version of Passed On with Good Company. Do you reckon? A quick go, you know the one. No,
It's not going to be.
That's not going to work.
He's got 60 full-time minstrels who know what they're doing and who play in the Great Hall to sort of call people to come and eat and things. I think thee and me. Holding a bit of tuba and going,
no, forget that one.
I suspect not. So this leads us. It's difficult to just turn up and get into the royal presence this way. What about using the advantage of history? If we know at a specific date and time where he is, we can be there.
Well, this is it. I've often wondered, do we want to go and see young Henry? 18-year-old Henry, 20-year-old Henry, bluff Prince Hal, knobbing his way up and down Cheapside, you know, one of the roister-doisters? Or do we want to pick the one that we want to see, the famous one? Do we want to see the fat boy himself? A bit more dangerous because, of course, he's gone a little bit loopy by then. And
he's a bit temperamental.
He is. He might forgive you our funny look and our funny accents, or he might just execute us for that one. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to go for young Henry personally.
I'm going to go. Oh, young Henry. Yeah, I mean he's sort of jousting. Hail, hearty Henry! Ho 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 ho! I'm jousting. Oh God! I'm sure I'm sure it's hard work. I'm sure it'd be great fun in small doses. Yeah.
I think I've got it. Yeah. The one time he's really happy. Let's go to the christening of Edward VI. The whole of the city is in celebration. We should be able to sneak in there and see everyone toasting the new prince. Get yourself a goblet,
Hooray!
fill it with some wine,
Yeah.
toast the new prince. I think we'd be pretty safe there.
That'd be a pretty safe. I mean, that's far more sensible than the solution I was going to recommend to people, which is pick an event like we know that at Christmas, when he was 6, Sheen Palace burnt down and he was rescued. Very, nearly died. Palace burns down, falls down. His father, Henry VII, and he and his mum and the servants managed to sort of tumble out the door at the last minute. I was going to go sort of, let me help rescue the prince. And then, he's only 6, pick him up, carry him away, and you've got the favour of the Tudor court, and you can just reappear. You wouldn't age, though. Anyway, but you could rescue him at that point, which might be, it'd be a strange thing to do, but you at least get to meet him. Even though he's 6.
So our basic, our basic outline then is be very careful when you go and see him. Try and sneak in with some foreigners because you're going to look a bit odd. Really try not to stand out. And whatever you do, don't end up washing up in the kitchens. I think that's good advice.
And I think the important thing in a way for me is the guards aren't there because they think you're going to assassinate him. They're there to keep people like you away. So try not to be a person like you.
Good point. On that note, bye-bye, time travellers. Take care amongst Henry VIII's courtiers.
and good luck.
Hi, time travellers. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, don't forget to subscribe, like us and share. And we're always looking forward to your comments below. Cheers.